a year of consequence. I think they feasted on, their division being lousy, and if I can recall, I don't remember that team beating anybody I don't remember them beating a good football team. I think that was the knock on them.
No, did they win a playoff game?
No, they did not.
Okay, they got beat in the first round.
No, Packers went into Washington and beat them. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they actually beat them pretty handily.
Glad you're here, man. I can't remember yesterday.
They actually beat them pretty handily. The NFC is always it's that division year after year. Normally, I don't remember the last time there was a clear-cut favorite in that division.
Yeah, that division's always
normally up
for sure.
Always up. It's a good rivalry division too, because I think each team you mix and match each team. They all hate each other. They all, the fan base. They have passionate fan bases that all can't stand each other. Eagles fans being assholes and Cowboys fans being delusional. But
yeah, but no, you're right. It is. It's a cool division. It's an all-around cool division. You're not going to find four teams with more passionate fans from Washington to geographically the only team that's really out of that mix is Dallas. But they could never move them out of that division. Those rivalries are just too solid. If you're a Giants fan, you hate the Cowboys, you hate the Eagles, you hate the Redskins, and vice versa.
It's a great rivalry division. It's just the teams just haven't been as good as they've been. I mean, this past year especially, no team in the division. Obviously, Tony Romo went down, and Des Bryant was hobbled the whole year. But there wasn't really a team. There wasn't really a very good team in that division. Just one team had to emerge, and it just happened to be the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm going to say that with Dak Prescott likely under center for the Dallas Cowboys for at least 10 weeks, that team's not winning that division. They're going to be lucky to win a handful of games. I know he's looked good. I don't want to be Pete and repeat here, but I know he looked good in the preseason, but it is preseason. I'm pushing Dallas aside on this. Philadelphia is unknown to me under Doug Peterson. It's his first head coaching job. You don't know. I understand he's.
And I can't rely on Sam Bradford to go get me a cup of coffee, let alone win the division.
You can't. No, you can't. He could twist an ankle going down a flight of steps. The Eagles, especially under Doug Peterson, the guy hasn't been a head coach at this level before. I understand that it's got to be nice to sit under Andy Reid for a few years. That can't be a bad thing. Can't be a bad thing at all, but not good enough to jump into this division and win.
I have to maybe. I know you think you like the Redskins. I'm thinking maybe I don't like this team by any stretch, being a Jets fan, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Giants at this point. I think they have the best. As it stands right now, they have the best quarterback in the division, in Eli Manning. They have probably the best talent in the division. Des Bryant's special too, but like with Tony Romo going down and a rookie coming in, who knows? So we have Odell Beckham as a best offensive weapon probably in that division now. Sure. And the Giants defense looks like it.
Rashad Jennings at running back is nobody to laugh at. He can carry a team. He really can. He ran well for them last year. He gets overlooked because he's not flash.
He's productive. He can be productive. Yeah. I think the offense will be fine. The Giants' offense last year wasn't the problem. That defense was absolutely horrendous last year.
Stop anybody, but
they've added Janoris Jenkins and some guys, and it looks like they made the defense a little. I'm saying the defense will be a little bit better. I'm not saying it's going to be elite or top 5, but it's going to be a little bit better than it was last year.
Yeah, because it's not going to be elite. And no. You know that they didn't do enough.
It's not going to be elite, no. But
no, they didn't do enough. Now in that division, I still think you have to tip your hat to the Washington Redskins. Again, we don't have numbers on what Vegas has them posting at right now as far as your division winners. So we're not running to the booth and laying any money at all on the Washington Redskins, but they seem to be the team to look at in that division. They did it last year. Good opportunity to do it again with Romo going down, with Philadelphia just not knowing who they are quite yet. And Washington or the Giants, we don't know what that team is yet under Ben McAdoo. You don't know.
No,
might be shit.
We don't. But also, Kirk Cousins is back for a second year, betting on himself. Might I add, that could be risky. It's rolling the dice, but I like his confidence at the same time. It'll be interesting.
Paycheck.
So we'll see. We'll see because we've seen this before. We'll see if Kirk Cousins can do it again. Me personally, I know you like the Redskins, but me personally, I'll go with them with the best quarterback and the most experienced quarterback in that division. I'm going to go with Eli, and the Giants edge that division out.
Good call. I'm going to go ahead and take the Washington Redskins to win this division, to win the NFC East. I do think it's important to note that in the NFL, the best player tends to win that job. And Kirk Cousins beat out Robert Griffin III for that job.
No question.
Beat out a number 2 overall. Now, look, injury affected Griffin quite a bit, but I think the way he plays this game, he doesn't have the body and the build for it, so he cannot be this wild man. And look, when he was playing his way, he was the NFC Rookie of the Year. He played really, really well, but he just can't take those hits. And I do think that Mike Shanahan never should have sent his ass back out on the field a couple years ago. I think
no, but maybe it was Mike Shanahan just sending him to his doom because he's just being spiteful to go back at Daniel Snyder. He didn't want to draft this damn kid anyway, so let's watch him get hurt.
That thought has crossed my mind as well. As the Shanna rat wanted to go ahead and run Kirk Cousins out there, and he said, "There's one way to do it. I'm going to get Griffin killed." Not that he didn't. It was a lot of the blame in my eyes lays on Shanahan. He put Griffin in a position to succeed and get killed all at the same time. So, all right, you're taking Eli and the Giants. I'm taking the Washington Redskins.
Slightly, not convincingly, but slightly.
Yeah. Where do you want to go? You want to go to the south or the west?
Let's head down south.
Let's head down south. Go ahead. You tee this one off there, Chief, because I got
you ready for my big shock to win this one? I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers. Big shock. Big shock. I know. I'm going out on a limb, guys. It's your sleeper bet of the year. Carolina Panthers will win the NFC South. Well, obviously, just the best all-around team. Clearly the best defense in that division by not even close. The best defense in that division.
Let me throw an active line at you right now. The Carolina Panthers are one of four NFC teams favored to win the NFC. Can we name them? I'll do it because I'm reading.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Carolina Panthers are one of 4 NFC teams favored to win that conference, along with Seattle,
Arizona, and Green Bay.
That's right. So the same 4. These 4 teams the last few years have really, well, not Carolina, with the exception of recently, but Seattle, Green Bay, Arizona the last few years have been really the cream of the crop in the NFC. I like Carolina in this division as well, but go ahead, fire away. Tell me why.
I mean, like I said, defense, and more defense. They have the best defense by far in that division. Maybe one of the best in the conference. Maybe one of the best in the entire NFL. That defense gets after you. They force turnovers. Luke Kuechly is one of my favorite players to watch every Sunday. The guy is an absolute animal. He's all over the field. He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback on the defense.
Yeah, he is.
Guy's great. And let's not forget, Cam takes a lot of shit, but he's typically the best player on the field when he's out there.
He's great.
So,
and he's going to win you games on his own. He showed that last year that he's come of age and he's going to win games on his own. He does take a lot of shit, which I really don't want to get into, but whatever. The guy wins football games.
Yeah, I don't care. Dip, dab, dive, duck, and dodge. Big fucking deal. He's the best player in that. He's the best player in that division. That he's on the best team, the best defense. That team runs away with that division. I don't see. I mean, always, of course. Let's just throw it in there. Barring major injury, we know. But other than that, that's a runaway right there. 12-4, win the division.
Let me throw this out there with you to speed it along here. I agree with you, Carolina. This is some of these are tough to not. We have a hard time disagreeing on some of these because it's seemingly so cut and dry. Carolina's at minus 240 early on in the year when these numbers first came out. Right now, they're once again a heavier favorite. But Atlanta and New Orleans, I really just see these two teams as so mediocre. I mean, Carolina to win the division is at minus 300. So for the math's sake, you have to go lay $300 to win 100 in that division. Is it worth dropping 900 to win 300? No, it's really not. It's not worth the risk. But I got to tell you what, man, I don't see anybody else with an opportunity to win this division. Tampa.
I don't either. I think it's about I think it's a sure bet. But it's just me. I'm all about the value. I like me a good underdog. That's me personally. I like when I have a solid game underdog, if you will. That's what I like.
I do too, but I don't see one here in a futures play at all. Atlanta is very mediocre. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Matt Ryan, but clearly something. Julio Jones is great. Devonta Freeman had a really nice season. I'm not going to be surprised if he ends up splitting carries with Tevin Coleman, just for a fantasy perspective. Taking Devonta Freeman in the top 15 picks scares the hell out of me with Tevin Coleman there and healthy. If you recall last year, Devonta Freeman won that job to an injured Tevin Coleman. While he pipped him, and then Coleman never saw that much of the field again. I don't know if he was ever 100% healthy either. They might split carries. Regardless, Atlanta defensively, maybe they'll start to come around under what's his name? Is it Dan? No.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, thank you. So maybe, just maybe, his defensive scheme will finally start to take hold in Atlanta, and they might win a few more games. But I find them very mediocre. I find New Orleans to be just so porous defensively. We've brought it up 1,000 times in this podcast. We brought it up once, but what the hell, one more time. The New Orleans
Saints, they're like watching a Big 12 team. It's awful.
Yeah, they just go backwards. They may as well play all their defense on roller skates. The game against the Giants last year when it was like 51-50, whatever the score might have been, was a good indication that New Orleans has no defense now. I think that we'll see an improvement in their defense now that Rob Ryan is no longer at the helm. He sucks. He sucks. Seriously, that team would.
Just the image of that blown up Santa Claus on the sideline makes me chuckle.
Yeah, well, you know what though? I mean, I was waiting for at some point last year for Sean Payton to like lock Rob Ryan in a locker and just leave him in there and see if they could somehow or another call a better defense on their own. Dennis Allen is now their defensive coordinator, former Raider head coach.
Definitely a size differential between the two. I could say that.
There is. Yeah. But don't be surprised if Sean Payton sticks Dennis Allen in a locker at one point this season too. Sean Payton's a great head coach. He is. He's only going to put up with that shit for so long.
Yeah, definitely he's definitely an offensive mind. And Drew, he's one of those guys when Drew Brees gets inducted in the Hall of Fame. Not saying Drew Brees isn't great because he is, and he deserves to be where but he's got Sean Payton to probably thank for why he's going to be trying to Canton someday.
They put each other in great positions. It's the old comparison I've made for years, and I know I'm constantly such a Raider homer, but going back for years, Rich Gannon was a journeyman cornerback in Minnesota and Kansas City. But he ended up with a guy by the name of John Gruden, and Gruden put Gannon in a position to succeed. He brought Gannon in and said, "You're the kind of guy I want to do this." And then Gannon's a league MVP because he was in the right system.
Gannon would be in the Hall of Fame if he'd have played with John Gruden his whole career. I do believe
13
that.
13 years, he's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. But Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer, period. I don't care where he's been. He's been great, but he's really the system suited for him. That offense is fine. I think Mark Ingram, if they really want to run the ball there as much as they've discussed and as much as they've shown that they want Ingram to be a bit of a bell cow, then great. That's takes a little bit off of Brees. He doesn't have to flip it all over the field. He seems to have developed a nice rapport with Brandon Cooks, finally. I will never draft Brandon Cooks again. You can mark my words leading up to our future draft here on Sunday that if I draft Brandon Cooks, it's because my face is in a keg of beer. I'm not drafting him ever again. I passed him 3 times this week. 3 times, let somebody else take him, and I never again.
Let me hit you with a good old Alec Baldwin quote to my man out there. If you're listening out there, CJ Spiller, I'm sure you're probably not, but go fuck yourself. Seriously. I will never ever. Speaking of Saints, we'll never draft again. CJ Spiller, he's dead to me.
Yeah,
he's dead to me.
He's awful. Yeah, don't blame me. So don't see New Orleans having a shot in this division. Tampa's kind of intriguing, but I got to tell you what, man. I have a feeling that I am poisoned by local media. I listen to the local media here in the Bay Area talk about the Buccaneers and all this hype, and look, it's their job to stoke the flames and build the fire and make the fans in this area become rabid and excited. They got a lot to be excited about. Winston has played really, really well at times. He's played poor at times too. He's a young guy, whatever. But he's played really, really well. Mike Evans, as long as Mike Evans catches the ball, he's a great receiver. Vincent Jackson is the consummate professional. He catches everything, runs a great route.
He's just starting to fade out a little bit. He's just getting old.
He's aging, but I'll tell you, the guy gets to the marker. He knows where he's at on the field, catches everything. He's very physical still. As he's lost some speed, he's still very physical. I got a problem with the Buccaneers' defense. I do think Doug Martin's fine, but Doug Martin got paid this year, and when running backs get paid in the NFL, they tend to not be the same guy they were when they were trying to get paid.
Yeah, unless you're Adrian Peterson, that seems to follow the narrative.
And you're right. Peterson seems to be the exception. But I don't understand